Welcome to Zoe Stories. One wrong pill changed my gender forever. I never thought a single mistake could erase everything I knew about myself, but that one pill changed my life forever. I sat on my bed, staring at the small, unmarked capsule in my hand. It looked innocent enough. White, smooth, harmless. But something in my gut screamed danger. My phone buzzed with a text from Clara, my girlfriend. "Trust me. Take it. You'll thank me later." Her words had always carried this strange mix of warmth and command, and despite the twinge of doubt in my mind, I swallowed it. Just like that, my world began to unravel. Within minutes, a strange warmth crept over my body, tingling at first, then spreading, reshaping. I looked down, and my hands, they weren't mine anymore. Slender, soft, delicate. Panic clawed at my chest. "Clara, what did you give me?" I whispered, my voice higher than I remembered. A knock at the door jolted me. She appeared, calm, smiling, radiating control. "Relax," she said. "You're just becoming who you're supposed to be." Her eyes pierced mine, half teasing, half commanding. She had always been the dominant one between us, and now it felt like she had finally won. I tried to stand, to speak, to protest, but my body betrayed me. My chest felt tight, my hips different. Every movement made me hyper-aware of what I had become. Clara stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "Look at yourself in the mirror," she whispered. "See the new you. Beautiful, right?" I shook my head, heart racing. Beautiful? I'm a girl now? The mirror across the room reflected someone I didn't recognize. Soft features, wide eyes, lips that looked almost inviting. And for the first time, I felt an unfamiliar pang, shame, fear, and something else. Something dangerous. "Don't fight it," Clara said, her hand sliding over mine. "You'll thank me when you see the world through her eyes." The room spun, the mirror's reflection twisting. I wasn't just changing clothes or hairstyle. I was changing everything. My identity, my past, my very self. And I realized with a sinking heart, there was no turning back. Clara smiled, victorious, as if she had planned this all along. And maybe she had. "Welcome to your new life," she said softly. The moment she handed me the dress, I knew I was no longer in control. Clara didn't wait for me to protest. She held up a delicate pink dress, silk smooth, with lace trimming along the neckline. My stomach twisted. The thought of wearing it made my cheeks burn, my chest tighten, not from modesty alone, but from panic. "You're wearing this," she said, her tone firm but laced with amusement. "And I want you to feel every inch of it." I froze. My voice sounded foreign when I tried to speak, higher and softer than before. I can't." Clara stepped closer, her fingers brushing my arm. The contact sent shivers down my spine. Electric, unwanted, undeniable. "Yes, you can. And yes, you will. Don't make this harder than it has to be." Reluctantly, I took the dress, the fabric cool and impossibly light in my trembling hands. Every fold seemed to mock me, reminding me of how far I'd fallen from my old self. I shut my eyes and slipped into it, feeling it cling to curves I didn't recognize as mine. The mirror revealed a stranger. The boy I had been, the shy, uncertain me, was gone. In his place, a delicate figure, soft lines, feminine posture, chest slightly rounded, hips accentuated. I stumbled backward, trying to hide, but Clara grabbed my wrist, steadying me. "Look at yourself," she insisted. "Own it. Feel it. You're beautiful, and I'm not letting you forget that." Her words pricked at me like needles. I hated her. I hated this. I hated myself. But as I met my reflection, a strange warmth flickered in my chest. My lips parted. "Beautiful?" The word echoed in my mind, taunting me. Could I admit it? Clara didn't give me a chance to answer. She pulled out a small kit of makeup, foundation, blush, eyeliner, and lipstick. "Your face matters," she said softly. "If you're going to walk out into the world like this, you need to look the part." Every brushstroke on my face felt like a betrayal. Foundation smoothed over my jawline, contouring it into softer angles. Blush warmed my cheeks, emphasizing the cheekbones I never noticed. Lipstick, soft pink, kissed my lips, making them fuller, more inviting. I looked up. My eyes, lined and highlighted, stared back with a strange, hypnotic allure. The boy I was fading. Every layer of makeup, every brush, every gentle command from Clara was stripping away my identity, replacing it with something foreign and intoxicating. "You're doing so well," Clara cooed, running her hands over my shoulders, adjusting the dress. "You're almost ready to be seen." Seen by whom? I thought, panic rising. The idea of going outside like this filled me with dread and a thrill I couldn't name. My heart raced not just with fear but something darker, something shameful, the tiniest flicker of arousal at the thought of being this objectified. Clara smiled, sensing it. "You feel it, don't you? That rush? That's part of the power of being her." I shook my head violently. "No, I hate this." My voice cracked, tears welling up. "I'm still me. You can't make me." Her hand clamped gently over my mouth.
Sure.
"I'm not making you anything. You're discovering what's inside. And trust me, you'll love parts of her. I promise." Before I could respond, she grabbed a pair of delicate heels, tall, thin, intimidating. My stomach turned. Walking in them seemed impossible, but Clara didn't give me a choice. Step by step, she guided me, correcting my stance, adjusting my hips, forcing me to sway, to mimic femininity. Every misstep made me blush hotter than fire. "Look at you," she whispered, as I stumbled. "A little clumsy, a little scared, but so pretty." Pretty?
Me?
The word hammered in my mind. Embarrassment, humiliation, and a reluctant fascination twisted together inside me. For the first time, I realized how completely I was under her control. By the time we were done, I could barely recognize myself. My reflection was not just a stranger, it was a girl. A beautiful, soft, trembling girl under the meticulous hands of Clara. And then she smiled, victorious. "Tomorrow we go outside. The world needs to see her, and you need to see yourself in it." My throat tightened. Outside? Public? The very thought made my heart race with terror. Yet, beneath that fear, a small, unwelcome thrill fluttered. My body responded in ways I hated, ways I didn't understand. Clara stepped back, admiring her work. "Sleep on it tonight. Tomorrow she will walk, and you will see what she can do. But remember, there's no turning back now." As she left the room, I sank to the floor, staring at the reflection in the mirror one last time. My chest heaved. The dress clung to my body, heels perched awkwardly on my feet, makeup flawless. And I whispered, barely audibly, Who am I anymore?" The protagonist is fully feminized at home, emotionally conflicted, facing the terrifying prospect of going out in public as a girl for the first time tomorrow, under Clara's manipulative control. Every step outside felt like stepping into a nightmare I couldn't escape, yet a part of me craved it. The morning sunlight spilled through my bedroom window, painting the room gold. Clara stood by the door, arms crossed, radiating that same calm dominance that had haunted me since the pill. "Today," she said, her voice soft but ironclad, "you're going out. The mall. People will see her. People will know who she is." I swallowed hard. My reflection in the mirror confirmed what I already feared. Long hair perfectly curled, makeup flawless, a short pink dress hugging curves that weren't mine, and heels that made my legs ache with each shift of balance. I can't," I whispered. My voice cracked, thin and fragile. Clara tilted her head, a small, teasing smile on her lips. "Yes, you can. And you will. Look at you. You're beautiful. Don't waste it hiding." Her hands guided me to the door, each touch sending shivers down my spine. The air outside was thick with anticipation. Every sound, the hum of cars, chatter, footsteps, made my heart pound in my chest. The mall loomed ahead, bustling, indifferent. Clara held my hand tightly, almost possessively, guiding me like a fragile child. Each step in the heels felt like walking on knives. My legs wobbled, my chest heaved. "You look nervous," Clara murmured, leaning close so I could feel her breath.
"Good."
Fear keeps her alive, makes her obedient. I bit my lip, cheeks burning. Every glance from strangers felt like a spotlight. Some looked approving, others curious. Whispers brushed past my ears like cold wind. I could hear the smallest things: the click of heels, the soft murmur of my own breath, the distant laughter of teenagers. A group of girls passed by, whispering, "Wow, she's gorgeous." My face flamed. I wanted to run. I wanted to rip the dress off and vanish into nothing. But Clara's grip tightened. "Hear that? That's her. That's what she is now. Beautiful. Accept it." I wanted to scream. "I'm not her. I'm me. Stop.
Stop."
But the words caught in my throat. My reflection in every shop window mocked me, a perfect girl, trembling, fragile, vulnerable. And somewhere deep inside, I felt it, the tiniest flicker of pride. We entered a cosmetic store, the air thick with perfume and chatter. Clara guided me to a mirror. "Touch her face," she instructed. "Feel it. Learn it." I raised my hand slowly, tracing the curve of my cheek.
Smooth. Soft.
Foreign. Every brushstroke of yesterday's makeup screamed control, dominance, possession. And I hated it. And yet, I didn't look away. A young man approached the counter, glancing at me briefly. My heart leapt and sank simultaneously. His smile lingered, and he whispered to his friend, "She's really pretty." Heat rose to my face. My body reacted in ways I didn't understand: panic, embarrassment, and something else, something humiliatingly thrilling. Clara's eyes gleamed. She whispered, "Feel that? That's power. And she has it now." I staggered back toward her, tears threatening. I can't do this. People." "Sure," she soothed, pulling me into an embrace. "No, you can. You're doing it. And you will do it. Every step you take, every glance, every whisper, they all belong to her now." By the time we left the mall, I was exhausted, trembling, and emotionally raw. But a dangerous thought lingered. Part of me enjoyed it. The attention, the whispers, the helplessness. It was intoxicating, a bittersweet cocktail of shame and thrill. Clara smiled, victorious, as we stepped into the fading sunlight. "Tomorrow," she said, "we go further. A cafe. Maybe a small crowd. She needs to learn how it feels to be noticed, to be desired." I sank into silence, gripping my purse tightly, trying to anchor myself to reality. My reflection in the car window stared back, someone I didn't recognize. Someone I might never recognize again. "How much of me is left?" I whispered, tears rolling down. Clara didn't answer.
She didn't need to.
She never did. The protagonist faces the harsh reality of public exposure. Panic, humiliation, and an unwanted thrill blur together, leaving him emotionally unbalanced and completely under Clara's control. Sitting there, surrounded by strangers, I realized that my old life was already slipping through my fingers. The next day, Clara guided me to a small cafe downtown. The sunlight streamed through the windows, glinting off the polished tables. The smell of coffee and pastries made my stomach twist, not with hunger, but anxiety. "You'll order," Clara said, her hand resting possessively on my shoulder. "Like her. Speak like her. Walk like her. Every detail matters." I swallowed hard, gripping the edges of my tiny purse. My voice, still trembling, betrayed me. I can't." Clara smiled, a mix of amusement and control. "You can and you will. Watch me." She guided me to a seat near the window. A group of young men nearby glanced in my direction. One leaned toward his friend, whispering, "Wow, she's hot." My face burned. My body stiffened. Heat pooled between my legs, confusing and humiliating me. I wanted to vanish. I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. Clara leaned close, whispering in my ear, "Feel that? That's her effect. That's her power." Own it. I shook my head, tears threatening again. I'm not her. Not yet, Clara said softly. But you will be. Every whisper, every glance, they are training you. Every reaction you have, every shiver, is molding her. A waiter approached. Clara guided my hand to the menu. Order, pretty girl. Speak up. I stammered, my voice high and thin. I'll have a cappuccino, please. The waiter smiled, nodded, and walked away. My chest heaved, and my hands trembled. Clara reached across the table, brushing her fingers over mine. Good. You're learning. Slowly, beautifully. Then a girl from the nearby table stood, staring. Recognition flickered in her eyes. Wait, aren't you? Panic surged through me. Memories, my old identity, threatening to erupt. I froze. Clara's hand squeezed mine under the table. Ignore her, she whispered. She doesn't matter. You matter. The girl lingered a moment longer, suspicion in her eyes, before returning to her friends. My relief was instant, but so was a new fear. What if someone else recognizes me? Clara's voice cut through my thoughts. Every moment like this is a lesson. Embarrassment, desire, recognition, they all shape her. I wanted to scream. I wanted to fight. But as I looked at the reflection in the cafe window, I barely recognized the trembling, delicate girl staring back. By the time we left, my legs ached from the heels, my chest burned with tension, and my mind reeled. Clara's hold over me felt complete. Every glance I received, every whisper I heard, cemented her control and my transformation. Tomorrow, she said as we walked back home, you'll meet someone new. Someone who'll see her and maybe like her. That's when things get interesting. I wanted to protest, but the words wouldn't come. The girl in the reflection was slipping further into reality, and part of me feared I might never return. Public exposure escalates. A person from his past almost recognizes him, introducing fear, humiliation, and identity crisis, while Clara's manipulative control strengthens. I wasn't prepared for the way his eyes lingered and how my body betrayed me in front of him. The next afternoon, Clara decided it was time for a new challenge. She dressed me meticulously in a pale lavender dress that clung to my hips, paired with delicate sandals that forced me to balance carefully with every step. My hair was curled perfectly, and makeup highlighted my eyes and lips. You're going to the park, she instructed, her voice soft but commanding. There will be people. There will be attention. You will respond. Don't hide. She deserves to be seen. I groaned, my stomach twisting in fear. I can't. People will stare. Clara smiled, a mix of dominance and affection. They already are. And you will enjoy it, whether you admit it or not. We arrived at the park, sunlight filtering through the trees. Families strolled by, children laughed, and couples walked hand in hand. Every eye that caught mine made me freeze. My cheeks flamed. My legs shook. Then I saw him. A young man, maybe a few years older than me, leaned against a tree with a book in his hand. His eyes immediately found mine, and he smiled, a slow, lingering smile that made my chest tighten and my face burn. Hey, he said casually, stepping closer. You look really pretty. My throat went dry. I could barely speak. Thank you. My voice, so high and delicate, betrayed me. Clara stepped behind me, her presence grounding but also amplifying my humiliation.
See?
That's her effect. Own it. The boy's smile widened. I mean it. You're gorgeous. Can I sit with you? Panic surged. I wanted to flee, but Clara's hand on my shoulder anchored me. Yes, she whispered. You'll sit. And you'll be charming. She's charming. I forced a small, shaky smile as he sat beside me. Every word he spoke, every glance he gave, made me hyper-aware of my body, how my chest moved, how my legs shifted, how my voice trembled. Every reaction, involuntary, betrayed the girl I had become. Do you come here often? He asked, his tone casual, teasing. I nodded faintly, biting my lip. Why, yes. My heart raced, a confusing mix of panic, shame, and something I didn't want to name. Clara whispered in my ear, just loud enough for me to hear. Feel that? That flutter in your chest? That's part of her awakening. You're learning what it means to be desired. My face burned hotter. I hated her. I hated him. I hated this. And yet, a small part of me thrilled in the attention, despite myself. He leaned closer. You have a really nice smile. You're so soft. I couldn't help it. My body shivered. My cheeks burned crimson. The humiliation was complete. I'm a girl. I'm sitting here.
He's noticing me.
And I feel it. Clara chuckled softly behind me, sensing every flutter, every tremble. Good, she whispered. Every reaction is part of her. Every moment is hers to live. The boy continued talking, oblivious to the storm inside me. Every compliment, every casual brush of his hand as he gestured, made me painfully aware of how far I'd come and how much of my old self was slipping away. By the time Clara called us to leave, my legs were shaky, my chest tight, and my mind spinning. I had survived the flirt, but at a cost I wasn't ready to name. My reflection in the park's glass storefront stared back, soft, delicate, feminine. And I realized, with a sinking heart, I was no longer just a boy in a dress. I was becoming her, whether I liked it or not. Clara's hand gripped mine as we walked away. Tomorrow, she said, we take her somewhere crowded, a real test of confidence. You'll see what it's like when the world notices her fully. My chest tightened, a mix of terror and something I couldn't admit. Who am I anymore, and do I even want to be me? The protagonist experiences the first direct flirtation, mixing humiliation, arousal, and identity confusion, showing his complete emotional vulnerability under Clara's control. Walking into that crowded mall, I felt the weight of 1,000 eyes pressing down on me, and my heart was pounding in ways I couldn't control. Clara had planned this carefully. A weekend afternoon, the busiest time of the week, with hundreds of shoppers milling about. She dressed me in a soft baby blue dress with a flared skirt, delicate lace around the collar, and strappy heels that made every step deliberate. You're not just going out today, she said, her voice low and commanding. You're performing. Every glance, every smile, every step, it all matters. She must shine. My stomach twisted. I wanted to scream. I wanted to vanish. But the reflection in the full-length mirror reminded me this wasn't optional anymore. The moment we stepped inside, the world hit me like a tidal wave. People everywhere, families, teens, couples, store employees, all moving around, talking, laughing, oblivious to me, or so I hoped. Clara guided me through the crowd, her hand firm on my back. Every eye that passed over me felt like fire. Some lingered a second too long. Whispers reached my ears. She's so pretty. Look at her dress. Wow. I wanted to collapse. My heels dug painfully into my feet, every step a challenge. My cheeks burned hot, my chest heaving, not just from the physical effort, but the emotional torment of being seen, admired, objectified. Walk, Clara whispered. Sway. Tilt. Let them see her. They need to see her. I stumbled slightly, and a group of teenage boys laughed softly. My face flamed. My body reacted in ways I hated. Humiliation pooled with an odd, unwanted thrill. Clara noticed, smiling, and whispered, Feel that? That's her awakening. Every reaction, every glance, it's shaping her. Accept it. Enjoy it. We paused near a fountain, and a young woman with a smartphone approached. Can I take a picture with you? She asked. I froze. My throat constricted. I don't think. Clara's hand pressed lightly on my back.
Yes. Smile.
She'll love it. I forced a shaky smile as the camera clicked. My reflection shimmered in the fountain's water, soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. The thrill of recognition from a stranger hit me like a jolt. Then, a familiar voice called out, Wait, is that? I spun around. It was a classmate from high school. His eyes widened in shock. Z, is that you? Panic surged through me. My body froze, heels threatening to betray my balance. I wanted to run, to hide, to rip the dress off and escape. But Clara's fingers brushed my arm, grounding me. Ignore him. She's hers now. My classmate stepped closer, curiosity and disbelief written all over his face. You look different. Really different. Tears pricked my eyes. Different? I'm not me anymore. I can't even recognize myself. Clara leaned in, whispering in my ear. Good. Let him see her. Let everyone see her. This is how she survives. This is how she grows. By the time we left the mall, I was emotionally drained. My legs ached, my face burned, my mind reeled. Every glance, every whisper, every recognition had pushed me closer to the edge. But Clara's control was absolute. Her hand on my shoulder was both comforting and terrifying. Tomorrow, she said, her eyes gleaming, we try something bigger. A small social gathering. People who will know her and like her. You'll see what it means to truly be her. I sank into silence, the reflection of the delicate, trembling girl staring back at me in the car window. Part of me hated her. Part of me didn't. How much of me is left before I vanish completely? Public exposure escalates. The protagonist is recognized by someone from his past, intensifying humiliation, identity crisis, and fear, while Clara's manipulative hold grows stronger. Every smile, every glance, every whisper, all cut deeper than I ever imagined. Clara had prepared me meticulously. My dress was soft rose with delicate ruffles, accentuating curves I was still learning to inhabit. Makeup highlighted my eyes, lashes long and fluttering, lips glossy and pink. Hair curled perfectly, cascading over my shoulders. I barely recognized the girl staring back in the mirror. You're not just going tonight, Clara said, adjusting my dress. You're performing. Every laugh, every word, every reaction belongs to her. Own it. My stomach twisted. I didn't want to perform. I didn't want to exist in this new reality. But Clara's hand, firm yet soothing on my shoulder, reminded me that refusal wasn't an option. The house was buzzing with people, Clara's friends, acquaintances, a mix of men and women, all stylish, all confident. And there I was, a trembling girl in a rose dress, trying to force a smile. Go, Clara whispered. She has to meet them. She has to be seen. I stepped forward, heels clicking against the wooden floor. Eyes turned. Whispers flowed around me. She's stunning. Look at her eyes. Who is she? Every compliment, every lingering gaze felt like fire on my skin. My chest tightened, my cheeks flamed, and my legs shook. The humiliation was exquisite, almost unbearable, but Clara's presence steadied me. A young man approached, casual but attentive. Hi, I don't think we've met.
I'm
Tom. I forced my voice, soft, high and trembling.
I'm
Emma, I whispered, my heart hammering. The name felt alien, yet somehow right. Clara had given it to me, and it stuck. Tom smiled, eyes lingering a little too long. Emma, you have an amazing smile. Heat rose to my face. My chest throbbed, not just from nerves, but from the strange, unwelcome thrill of attention. Every word he spoke, every glance, made me painfully aware of my body and how it had changed. Then, Clara guided me to a mirror in the corner of the room. Look at her, she whispered. See her. She's not just pretending. She's real. You are her now. I caught my reflection, the delicate girl with curled hair, soft features, trembling hands, and wide, uncertain eyes. Every layer of makeup, every curve accentuated by the dress screamed femininity. And I felt something strange, pride mixed with fear, excitement tangled with shame. Another woman approached, laughing softly. You're gorgeous. You're going to fit right in tonight. I nodded mutely, my throat tight. Every interaction was a test. Every compliment, every glance chipped away at the remnants of my old self. Clara whispered again, her voice a mix of sweetness and command. This is how she lives.
This is how she thrives.
Every reaction, every moment she belongs to herself now. By the end of the evening, I was exhausted, trembling, and emotionally raw. But for the first time, I noticed something terrifying. I hadn't hated every moment. The attention, the whispers, the careful admiration. It had stirred something inside me I couldn't name. As we left, Clara's hand on mine was firm. Tomorrow, she said, we push boundaries. Public outing in a busy street. People who don't know her. She must survive them. I shivered, heart racing, the reflection of the girl in the mirror of the hallway following me like a shadow. Who am I really, and who am I becoming? The protagonist faces direct peer comparison and admiration, feeling the first dangerous mix of pride and humiliation, questioning his identity, while Clara's control solidifies. Every step down that crowded street felt like walking on a tightrope, and I was dangling over a pit I couldn't escape. Clara had planned today with surgical precision. A bustling Saturday afternoon, the busiest part of downtown, full of shoppers, tourists, and curious onlookers. I was dressed in a soft mint green sundress, lightweight and flaring at the hips, paired with delicate strappy heels that made each step a challenge. My hair fell in perfect waves, makeup immaculate, lips glossy, eyes wide and expressive. You're not hiding today, Clara said, her voice calm but commanding. You're being seen. Every glance, every whisper, every stare, you own it. Or she owns you. I swallowed hard, my hands trembling. Fear pulsed through me like electricity. I wanted to flee, to vanish, to scream. But Clara's hand on my back reminded me there was no escape. The street was a sea of people. Families pushed strollers, couples walked hand in hand, teenagers chattered and laughed. Every eye that passed over me felt like a spotlight. Every whisper made my cheeks burn. She's so pretty. Look at her dress.
Wow.
Heat pooled in my chest. My legs wobbled in the heels. My fingers clenched the small purse I carried, and my heart raced uncontrollably. The humiliation was suffocating, yet some part of me, a part one hated, thrilled in it. A group of young men leaned against a storefront, whispering and smirking. One stepped forward, eyes lingering on me a second too long. Hey, gorgeous, he said, a teasing smile on his face. Panic surged. My voice caught in my throat. I couldn't speak. My body responded against my will, shivers, heat, a strange flutter in my chest. Clara's hand on my shoulder steadied me while simultaneously amplifying my awareness of every reaction. Feel that, she whispered. That's her power. Every glance, every desire, every whisper, it's shaping her. Embrace it. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to hate this life. But as I looked at my reflection in a nearby shop window, soft curves, delicate face, wide expressive eyes, I saw a girl I barely recognized. Then a voice stopped me cold. Emma? Is that really you?
I spun.
A familiar face from school, a close friend of mine, stared, disbelief and confusion etched across his features. My chest tightened, and my throat went dry. I wanted to explain, to run, to rip the dress off, to scream, to deny it all. But Clara's fingers brushed my arm, grounding me. Ignore him, she whispered, calm and controlling. She's hers now. Every reaction, every falter, it's part of her. My friend took a step closer. I don't understand you, his voice trailed off, disbelief mixing with fascination. Tears welled up. He used to know me. He knew who I was, and now he doesn't. And neither do I. Clara's lips brushed my ear, her voice soft yet commanding. Good. Let him see her. Let everyone see her.
This is how she survives. This is how she thrives.
You are her now. My legs shook. Every heartbeat pounded in my ears. The unwanted thrill, the humiliation, the heat rising through my body, it was overwhelming. By the time we left the street, my mind was spinning, my chest heaving, my identity unraveling. Every step, every gaze, every whisper had pushed me closer to the girl I was becoming. Clara's hand remained firm on my shoulder. "Tomorrow," she said, "we go inside a crowd. A social event where she'll be judged by strangers, admired by them. It's time she learns what it truly means to exist as her." I sank into silence. The reflection of the girl in the shop windows followed me like a shadow. I hated her. I feared her. And yet, I couldn't look away. How much of me is left before I vanish completely? The protagonist faces direct recognition from someone from his past, intensifying fear, humiliation, and internal conflict, while Clara's psychological control grows stronger. Public exposure is now absolute. Sitting in that salon chair, I realized just how much of myself I had already lost and how far I still had to go. Clara had planned a special day for me, a trip to a high-end beauty salon downtown. I was dressed in a soft lilac dress, heels carefully chosen to force a graceful gait, hair styled but still slightly messy from yesterday's public outing. Makeup already highlighted my features, but Clara insisted on perfection. "You're not just here to look pretty," she said as we walked through the salon doors. "You're here to become her. Every strand, every curve, every movement, it matters." My stomach twisted. I wanted to protest, but Clara's hand on my lower back left no room for hesitation. The salon buzzed with activity, stylists chatting, blow dryers humming, perfume and hair products mixing in the air. Every glance from the staff and patrons made my chest tighten, my cheeks burn. A stylist guided me to a chair and draped a cape over my shoulders. Clara leaned close. "Relax. Let her take over. She's learning." The stylist began brushing my hair, pulling it into intricate curls and adding volume I had never experienced. Every tug and twist made me hyper-aware of my face, my neck, my shoulders. I could feel the girl in the mirror taking over more of me, inch by inch. "Beautiful," Clara whispered, her lips brushing my ear. "Look at her. Feel her. She's yours now." I shook slightly. I'm not. I'm still me." "You are her," Clara corrected softly. "Every reaction, every tremble, every blush, it's proof." The stylist applied a fresh layer of makeup, foundation smoothing over my jawline, blush warming my cheeks, eyeliner sharpening my eyes, lipstick emphasizing lips that now seemed fuller than ever. I hardly recognized the reflection staring back. "Your eyes," Clara murmured, tracing my cheek. "They're so expressive, so delicate, so pure." Heat pooled in my chest. Embarrassment, shame, and a strange thrill collided inside me. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. My reflection was mesmerizing, a girl entirely unlike the boy I once was, yet unmistakably part of me. Then Clara guided me through a series of exercises. I had to practice walking in my heels down a narrow salon aisle, turning slowly, smiling softly, posing as if for a photo. Every misstep drew a gentle correction from her hand, a whisper of instruction, a reminder that she controlled everything. By the time we finished, my legs ached, my chest heaved, and my mind felt foggy. But the most frightening part was this: a small, undeniable pride flickered inside me. I had survived. I had performed. I had been admired. Clara smiled, victorious. "Tomorrow, we take her somewhere even bigger. A real social test. She'll have to interact, flirt, and command attention. Only then will she truly accept herself." I sank into the salon chair, staring at the delicate, trembling girl in the mirror. Part of me hated her. Part of me feared her. And yet, I couldn't stop looking. Who am I, and who will I become? The protagonist undergoes full beauty transformation, reinforcing feminization and dependency on Clara. Emotional vulnerability, shame, and subtle thrill leave him conflicted about his identity. Every laugh, every glance, every brush of a hand, it all made me tremble with a mix of fear and something I couldn't name. Clara had chosen the perfect setting, a bustling evening party in a spacious loft, filled with stylish, confident people. Music pulsed in the background, glasses clinked, and laughter echoed off the walls. I was dressed in a soft cream-colored dress, fitted at the waist, flowing slightly at the skirt. Heels made each step deliberate, and my hair fell in soft waves over my shoulders. Makeup highlighted my eyes and lips perfectly. "You're not hiding," Clara whispered as we entered. "She belongs here." Every glance, every reaction, every word, it's hers. I swallowed hard, gripping my small clutch. Anxiety clawed at my chest, but Clara's firm hand on my back grounded me. The room was alive with people, all noticing, all reacting. Some eyes lingered too long, some whispered to their companions, all attention-focused, or at least partially, on me. A young man approached, tall and confident, with a teasing smile. "Hi. I haven't seen you around before. I'm Alex." I felt my throat tighten. My voice trembled as I responded softly. I'm Emma." Clara's eyes glimmered with satisfaction. "Good. Let her speak. Let her charm him." Alex leaned closer, his hand brushing mine as he gestured. "You're really beautiful. And your dress, wow." Heat flushed through me. My chest tightened, legs shook slightly in the heels, and a shiver ran down my spine. Embarrassment, fear, and an inexplicable thrill collided inside me. Clara's hand squeezed mine gently, as if marking her dominance. "Feel that," she whispered. "Every flutter, every tremble, it's hers. She's learning what it means to be desired." I forced a shaky smile, nodding, pretending to engage fully. The boy's attention made my heart race. My reflection in the nearby mirror caught my eye, a delicate, feminine girl, trembling and flushed, completely under Clara's control. Then another person arrived, an acquaintance from school. Their gaze lingered, recognition flickering. I froze, panic surging. Clara leaned close. "Ignore them.
She's hers now."
Every glance, every recognition, it shapes her. Let it. By the end of the night, Alex had left, but the experience lingered like a pulse in my chest. I had been admired, desired, noticed, and I hated myself for enjoying it, even slightly. Clara's voice broke through my storm of thoughts. "Tomorrow, we push boundaries again. A full-day outing. Public, crowded, unavoidable. She must live as her entirely, without escape." I sank into silence, staring at my reflection in the car window on the way home. The girl in the mirror looked back, soft, delicate, trembling, and entirely herself. Part of me hated her. Part of me feared that I was already gone. How much of me remains, and does it even matter anymore? The protagonist experiences first real social flirtation, internal conflict, and emotional vulnerability, while under Clara's control. Admiration and humiliation mixed dangerously, deepening identity crisis. From the moment I stepped outside, it felt like every eye in the city was on me, and I couldn't hide, couldn't run, couldn't be me. Clara had planned a relentless day. From morning until evening, every minute was scheduled to push me further into the girl I was becoming. My outfit was soft pink with a delicate floral pattern, heels that forced perfect posture, and makeup flawless enough to turn heads. My hair cascaded in soft curls that tickled my shoulders. "You're not just going out," Clara said as we left the house. "You're performing everywhere all day. Every glance, every whisper, it's hers to handle. And you'll handle it." I shivered. Anxiety churned in my stomach, fear in my chest. I wanted to protest, but her firm hand on my back reminded me there was no escape. Our first stop was a busy cafe. Every glance, every waiter's smile, every whisper made my cheeks burn. Then came the mall, shoppers everywhere, eyes lingering too long, whispers brushing past like cold wind. "This is nothing," Clara murmured, guiding me through the crowd. "The real test is yet to come." Next, she led me into a high-end boutique. Mannequins reflected perfectly poised, confident women. The staff immediately noticed me. Compliments flew, some polite, some lingering. Every word made my chest tighten, my legs wobble. A shop assistant offered to help me try shoes, brushing her hand lightly against mine. I froze, heart hammering. Humiliation and an unwanted thrill collided. "You're doing beautifully," Clara whispered. Every reaction, Every flush, it's hers.
Accept it.
By afternoon, we arrived at a salon for a touch-up. Hair, makeup, nails, Clara oversaw every detail, correcting posture, walk, gestures. The stylist complimented my look repeatedly, each word making me feel exposed, feminine, and painfully aware of my vulnerability. Then we ran into someone from my school, an old friend. Recognition flickered across their face. Panic surged. I wanted to hide, to disappear, to rip off my outfit and run. Clara's fingers brushed my arm. "She's hers now," she whispered. "Let them see her. Every falter, every blush, it strengthens her." By evening, we were back on the crowded streets, people everywhere. Every stare, every whispered comment, every unwanted admiration was a knife twisting in my chest. My reflection in shop windows followed me relentlessly, soft, delicate, trembling, undeniably feminine. Clara's voice cut through my panic. "Tomorrow, we begin the next stage. She must be seen in public without guidance. She must survive attention alone. She must live as her." I sank into silence. The girl in the mirror stared back at me, confident in appearance, but trembling inside. I hated her. I feared her. And yet, some small, terrifying part of me wanted to keep going. Who am I anymore, and will I ever be me again? The protagonist experiences nonstop public exposure, including recognition by past acquaintances, psychological strain, and internal conflict. His dependency on Clara grows, while his identity as a boy erodes further. Every glance, every whisper, every subtle touch, it was a dangerous dance. I wasn't sure I wanted to survive. Clara had chosen a private evening gathering, a small but exclusive party at a friend's loft. The room was dimly lit with candles and soft golden lights, creating a warm yet intimate atmosphere. Everyone was impeccably dressed, the air buzzing with laughter, flirtation, and quiet competition. I was dressed in a fitted emerald green dress that hugged my curves, paired with black stilettos that forced perfect posture. My hair was styled in soft waves, cascading over my shoulders. Makeup highlighted my eyes, making them shimmer in the low light, lips painted a soft, tempting red. "You're not just going to be seen tonight," Clara whispered as we entered. "You're going to feel being seen. Every reaction matters." She has to understand desire and envy alike. My stomach twisted. Anxiety churned inside me like a storm. The moment we entered, eyes turned. Some lingered, some whispered. My cheeks flushed with embarrassment. My legs trembled. My chest tightened. A young man approached, tall, confident, with a teasing smile. "Hi. I don't think we've met. I'm Daniel." I trembled, my voice soft and hesitant. I'm Emma." Clara's eyes gleamed.
"Good.
Let her charm him. Let her reactions teach her." Daniel leaned closer, eyes locking with mine. "You're stunning, and that dress, wow."
Heat pooled in my chest.
Legs shaky, cheeks flushed, I felt humiliation, and an unwanted thrill clash violently. Clara's hand brushed mine, steadying and commanding all at once. "Feel that," she whispered. "Every heartbeat, every shiver, it's her. She's learning the power of being seen, being desired. Embrace it." Suddenly, a group of women approached, their gazes sharp with subtle envy. "Who's this?" one asked, her tone half curious, half challenging. Clara's grip tightened on my shoulder. "Let them look.
She's hers now."
Every glance, every comparison, it strengthens her. Own it. My body reacted despite myself. Every compliment, every lingering look, every subtle jealousy chipped away at the remnants of my old self. I hated it. I feared it. And yet, part of me, terrifyingly, thrived on it. By the end of the night, Daniel had lingered close, laughing softly, teasing gently, leaving me flushed and trembling. The subtle glances from other women, whispered comments, and Clara's constant guidance had left me emotionally raw and deeply conflicted. Clara's voice cut through my turmoil. Tomorrow, she faces the ultimate test. A public outing where she will be completely alone. She will have to survive attention, desire, and judgment without me. She must own herself fully. I stared into the mirror as we left. The girl reflected back at me, trembling but beautiful, feminine but fragile. I hated her. I feared her. And yet a small, dangerous part of me wanted to keep going, to see how far I could fall or rise. Who am I, and will I recognize myself by the end of this? The protagonist experiences flirtation, jealousy, and subtle manipulation, deepening emotional conflict and self-doubt. Clara's control grows, and the protagonist must confront his evolving identity. Alone in the crowd, every pair of eyes felt like a spotlight, and I wasn't sure I could survive the glare. Clara had finally decided I was ready for a full test, an entire day navigating the city on my own, completely exposed, without her guiding hand. I was dressed in a soft pastel yellow dress that flowed gently with every movement, paired with delicate heels that forced careful, measured steps. My hair fell in loose curls, makeup flawless yet natural, highlighting the delicate girl I had become. "You're on your own today," Clara said, her voice calm yet commanding. No guiding hand, no corrections. Just her completely. Survive attention, survive desire, survive judgment. She must own herself fully. I swallowed hard. Anxiety clenched my stomach like a fist. Fear prickled every nerve. But as Clara kissed my cheek lightly and released my hand, I realized there was no turning back. The city was alive. Streets crowded, cafes bustling, stores full of shoppers. Every glance, every whisper, every lingering stare pierced me like a blade. I tried to walk normally, but heels made every step deliberate, and every wobble was a source of embarrassment. "Look at her," I overheard someone whisper. "So pretty, so delicate." Heat pooled in my chest. I wanted to flee. I wanted to hide. And yet a small, unbidden thrill stirred inside me. Every reaction, every compliment, every lingering glance was reshaping me in ways I hadn't anticipated. At a crowded cafe, I attempted to order a coffee. The barista smiled warmly, making small talk. "Beautiful dress," she said casually. My cheeks flamed. I stammered, voice soft, trembling, higher than ever. Outside, walking through a busy street, a young man bumped lightly into me. "Sorry, you're gorgeous," he said with a teasing grin. My knees went weak. My chest tightened. Part of me wanted to hide, part of me shivered with an unwanted thrill. Hours passed like this. Constant exposure, constant attention, constant testing. By mid-afternoon, tears threatened. I found a quiet bench in a small park, head in my hands, trembling. "What's wrong, Emma?" asked a kind passerby, a young woman who noticed my distress. Her tone was gentle, curious, not judgmental. I shook my head, unable to speak. Clara's voice echoed in my memory. She must own herself. Every reaction, every tear, every thrill, it's part of her. I realized with a sinking heart, I had survived. I had been seen, admired, desired. And I hated myself for enjoying any of it. By evening, I returned home, exhausted, flushed, emotionally raw. The girl in the mirror stared back, soft, delicate, trembling, undeniably feminine. Part of me wanted to reclaim my old self. Part of me feared I never could. Clara's eyes glimmered as I entered. "Tomorrow," she said, "we take the final step." She must be fully embraced, in public, with no hiding, no fear, no escape. She must live as her. I sank into silence. The reflection of the girl in the mirror followed me relentlessly, beautiful, fragile, and terrifyingly real. How much of me is left, and will I even recognize myself by the end? Every eye on me felt like a judgment and a temptation I couldn't resist. Clara had arranged the ultimate test, a glamorous evening event, a semi-formal gathering with influential guests, where I would be fully exposed, with no protection, no guidance, and no escape. My outfit was a fitted deep red dress, elegant yet daring, paired with heels that forced every step to be perfect. Makeup emphasized my eyes, lips painted a bold crimson, hair cascading in flawless waves. You are hers tonight, Clara whispered, her hand briefly brushing mine. No hesitation. No hiding. Own every glance, every whisper, every desire. My stomach churned. Fear and anxiety battled with a strange, unbidden thrill. Every instinct screamed to run, to hide, to rip off the dress and reclaim myself. But Clara's piercing gaze left no room for retreat. As we entered the venue, the crowd shifted subtly. Eyes turned. Whispers floated across the room. Some admired, some envied, some judged. Every glance made my heart hammer, my cheeks flush, my body betray me with trembles and involuntary reactions. A young man approached, tall, confident, his gaze locking with mine. Hi. I don't think we've met. I'm Ryan. My voice trembled as I responded softly. I'm Emma. Clara's smile was sharp, satisfied.
Good.
Let her respond. Let her charm him. Let her learn the power of being desired. Ryan leaned closer, his hand brushing mine casually. You're stunning, truly. And that dress, wow. Heat surged through me, a mix of fear, shame, and an almost unbearable thrill. My legs wobbled slightly in my heels. My heart raced. I hated it. I feared it. And yet, I could not deny the strange pleasure of attention. Then I noticed her, another woman in the room, a subtle competitor, her eyes narrowing with envy. She whispered to her friends, casting glances my way. Every ounce of jealousy, every comparison, every subtle judgment made my chest tighten, my mind reel. Clara's hand rested lightly on my back. Let them see her. Let every glance, every whispered comparison, every envious thought shape her. She is hers now. Hours passed in a whirlwind of conversation, laughter, flirtation, and subtle power games. I laughed when prompted, blushed when complimented, trembled when desired, and held myself upright when challenged. Every reaction, every falter, every thrill chipped away at the boy I had been. By the end of the night, Ryan lingered close, talking softly, teasing gently. Other women watched with subtle envy, whispering among themselves. Clara's eyes glimmered with triumph. You did beautifully, she said as we left. Tomorrow, the final day. She must face the mirror alone. No audience. No excuses. She must see herself completely and accept it fully. I sank into the reflection of the girl in the mirror, trembling, flushed, and utterly feminine. Part of me wanted to reclaim my old identity. Part of me feared I never could. Who am I really, and who will I be when this ends? The girl in the mirror looked back at me, and I no longer knew which one of us was pretending. The night after the party was silent, too silent. My mind spun, replaying every smile, every whisper, every brush of Ryan's hand. The compliments, the envy, the looks, they had left a mark deeper than makeup could hide. When Clara led me into the bedroom the next morning, the air felt heavy. The curtains were drawn shut, only a thin ray of light slicing across the full-length mirror standing at the center of the room. Today is your final step, Clara said softly. No crowd. No games. No commands. Just you, and her. I turned toward the mirror. The reflection was beautiful. Terrifyingly beautiful. The red dress from the night before still hugged my curves. My makeup was slightly smudged, giving me a vulnerable, human look. My hair, disheveled, yet undeniably feminine. Clara stood behind me. Who do you see? I don't know. My voice trembled. I don't even sound like myself anymore. She stepped closer, her hands resting on my shoulders. That's because you've changed. And not just outside. I swallowed hard. You did this to me. She met my gaze through the mirror.
No.
You let it happen. You wanted to disappear, didn't you? You wanted to escape the boy who didn't belong anywhere. I just gave you a form that fit what you couldn't say. Her words hit like glass shattering in my mind. Memories flooded in. Every humiliation, every forced smile, every trembling step in heels, and beneath it all, moments of something else. Comfort, attention, belonging. Tears blurred my vision. Then why does it hurt so much? Because change always does, Clara whispered. Because the old you is still fighting. You can let him go, or you can chain yourself to him forever. I stepped closer to the mirror. My fingers brushed the glass. The girl mimicked me perfectly, soft lips trembling, eyes wet, breathing unsteady. She wasn't fake. She wasn't a disguise. She was me. I tried to remember my old voice, my old name, my old reflection. But the harder I tried, the more distant it felt, like a dream fading with the sunrise. Behind me, Clara's voice softened.
Say it.
Say who you are. I stared at the mirror, heart pounding. My lips parted, then stopped. I'm. The word wouldn't come. My throat tightened. Then I closed my eyes, took a shaky breath, and whispered, I'm Emma. The name left my mouth like a confession and a release. My shoulders dropped. The tension melted. And when I opened my eyes again, I wasn't looking at a stranger. I was looking at myself. Clara smiled faintly, proud, and maybe a little sad. Then she's finally home. I turned, tears streaming freely. Was this your plan all along? Not exactly, she said quietly. I just wanted you to see what I saw, that sometimes the person we were born as isn't the one we're meant to be. Her hand cupped my cheek. For the first time, there was no control in her touch, only warmth. You don't have to thank me. You just have to live. When she left the room, I faced the mirror again. The red dress shimmered softly in the morning light. I smiled, a small, fragile smile, but real. The girl in the mirror smiled back. And for the first time, there was no fear in her eyes. Weeks later, I found the pill bottle, the same one that had started everything. The faded label read prototype HRT compound, not for human testing. One mistake. One pill. One moment that changed everything. But as I looked at my reflection again, this time in a cafe window, hair tied neatly, soft voice chatting easily with Ryan across the table, I realized something. Maybe the wrong pill hadn't ruined me. Maybe it had shown me who I was always meant to be. I smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear, and whispered to myself, one wrong pill, one right life. No matter how much you change the outside, the past always finds its way back to knock on the door. It had been 3 weeks since that morning in the mirror. 3 weeks since I whispered, I'm Emma, and felt the world shift beneath my feet. Life had found a rhythm, if you could call it that. I worked at a small design studio Clara helped me join. My co-workers saw me as confident, quiet, and graceful. To them, I had always been Emma. The way they said my name felt natural now, but deep inside, it still sparked something fragile, like a secret that could crumble at any moment. Ryan and I met often. Coffee shops, long walks, movies. His laugh still made my chest tighten, but so did the guilt. Every time he reached for my hand, I felt a part of me freeze, half wanting to pull away, half melting into the warmth. But beneath the smiles and lipstick, the old me still whispered. He whispered when I walked past a men's clothing store. He whispered when I heard my old name on a random form letter. He whispered every night before sleep, asking, was it really your choice? One afternoon, as I walked through the crowded mall, a familiar voice cut through the noise. Wait, Alex. My entire body went cold. The voice was from before. I turned. It was Ben, my old college roommate. He froze mid-step, his eyes scanning me from head to toe. His mouth opened, then closed again. No way. You look different, I said softly, forcing a smile. He blinked rapidly, disbelief twisting his face. I thought you disappeared, man. Everyone did. What happened to you? Every word felt like a knife. The mall's noise faded until it was just the two of us, my new self and my ghost from the past. I had to start over, I whispered. Things got complicated. Ben frowned, searching my eyes. You're wearing makeup. His tone wasn't cruel, just confused. He looked at me longer, and I could see realization dawning. The shape of my face, the softness in my voice, the way I held my bag. All of it screamed who I was now. His expression faltered. Are you? I interrupted before he could finish. Yes. Silence. Finally, he said, so you're happy? The question hit harder than I expected. I hesitated. I'm trying to be. He nodded slowly. Then, I guess that's all that matters. But his voice was uncertain, the kind of tone people use when they don't understand something they're trying to respect. As he walked away, I stood frozen, watching him disappear into the crowd. My heart pounded. My reflection shimmered in a nearby glass display. Perfect hair, delicate earrings, a soft blouse. I looked right. I looked complete. But inside, something ached. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing his voice. You're happy? Are you? I looked in the mirror again, the same mirror from that final day. For the first time, I didn't see conflict. I saw layers. The boy I used to be, the girl I had become, and the space in between where I truly existed. I whispered to the reflection, you're both. And for the first time, that didn't feel wrong. Just when I started believing the storm was over, she came back, carrying the thunder with her smile. It had been 42 days since I last saw Clara. 42 days since the morning she left without a word, leaving behind only her perfume and the faint echo of her final sentence. You just have to live. In that time, I had tried. I had built something resembling peace. I had learned how to braid my hair without trembling, how to wear lipstick without hesitation, how to meet my reflection with acceptance instead of fear. But peace, as I learned, doesn't last. It was late evening when I found her standing outside my apartment, leaning against the railing, wearing a black coat and that same unreadable smile that had once terrified and comforted me in equal measure. Clara, I breathed, my voice half whisper, half disbelief. Hello, Emma, she said softly. You look incredible. There was something different in her eyes, less control, more distance. A quiet sadness that seemed out of place on her perfectly composed face. I didn't think I'd see you again, I said, stepping closer. I wasn't sure you should, she replied, but I had to know. Know what? If she survived. The words hit me like a pulse through the chest. I frowned. You mean me? Clara nodded. When I left, I wasn't sure if Emma would live, or if she'd break trying to keep Alex buried. Her words reopened a wound I thought had healed. I looked away. I'm not broken. Not anymore. Maybe, she said quietly, but you're still healing. I can see it in your eyes. We stood in silence for a moment, the air thick with old ghosts. Finally, I asked, why did you do it, Clara? Really? Why me? Her eyes softened, and for the first time, I saw something almost human in them. Regret. I didn't choose you by accident, she said finally. You reminded me of someone who was lost the same way you were. Someone who didn't survive. My breath caught. You mean? She nodded faintly. My brother. He never found himself. I saw in you the same confusion, the same pain. So I interfered. Her voice cracked slightly, the perfection fading. Maybe I went too far. Maybe I broke you before I helped you. But I couldn't watch another lost soul drown.
I didn't know what to say.
I wanted to hate her. For the manipulation, the pain, the loss of control. But standing there, seeing her vulnerability, I couldn't. You didn't break me, I whispered. You forced me to see what I couldn't. You made me angry, scared, confused, but I found something through it all. I found me. Clara smiled faintly, her eyes glassy. Then I did something right after all. The wind rustled between us. For a moment, it felt like the world had looped back to the start, the same two souls facing each other. Only now, everything was inverted. I was the composed one, and she was unraveling. Where will you go now? I asked. She looked at me for a long moment, then said, somewhere quiet. Somewhere no one knows my name. Before I could respond, she stepped closer and brushed her fingers through my hair. Just once. Gentle. Almost maternal. You don't need me anymore, Emma. That's how I know you're free. And then she turned to leave. Clara, I called out.
She paused.
Thank you for everything. Even the pain. She smiled over her shoulder. Pain is just the tax for transformation. And with that, she was gone. I stood alone on the balcony, wind tangling through my hair, eyes burning with unshed tears. But this time, they weren't tears of confusion. They were gratitude. Gratitude for the chaos that had shaped me. When I looked at my reflection in the sliding glass door, I whispered. She came back to see if I survived. And I did. Emma finally learns Clara's true motive, a tragic echo from her past. Instead of fear or submission, Emma now stands in emotional equilibrium, understanding the woman who once controlled her, forgiving her, and realizing her independence. Sometimes, the ending isn't about turning back. It's about walking forward without looking over your shoulder. It's strange how silence changes after a storm. It doesn't feel empty anymore, it feels earned. Weeks turned into months. Life no longer felt like borrowed time. It felt like mine. I moved into a new apartment, smaller, brighter, filled with the scent of coffee and sunlight. My walls were painted a soft cream, and the mirrors, so many mirrors, no longer frightened me. They had become reminders, not prisons. I got a new job at the studio. Not through Clara's influence this time, but on my own merit. I worked hard, stayed late, and earned my place. When coworkers laughed, they laughed with me, not at me. They called me Emma, and every time I heard it, I didn't flinch anymore. Sometimes I'd catch myself humming while walking to work, heels tapping against the pavement, the rhythm oddly natural now. The old awkwardness had faded. What replaced it wasn't confidence, exactly, but a quiet ease. Ryan was still there. He never pressed, never demanded explanations. He just stayed. One evening, as we sat in a cafe by the window, he said softly, "You know, I don't think I've ever seen you this at peace." I smiled. Maybe because, for once, I am. He tilted his head. "Do you ever think about who you were before?" I hesitated. Sometimes. But it feels like thinking about a dream I barely remember. He's still part of me, just not the whole story anymore. Ryan nodded slowly, as if that made sense. I like the you that's here now. I looked at him and realized something simple but profound. I didn't need his approval anymore. I wanted his company, not his validation. That, more than anything, meant I had truly changed. One weekend, I took a trip to the coast alone. The sky was wide and forgiving, the air crisp with salt and memory. As I walked along the shoreline, barefoot, wind tugging at my hair, I thought of everything that had happened. The pill, the transformation, Clara's control, the pain, the confusion. I thought of Alex. He wasn't gone. He wasn't erased. He was the foundation, the quiet strength beneath everything I had become. I whispered his name into the wind, and for the first time, it didn't hurt. It felt like gratitude. Then, in the reflection of the waves, I saw her, Emma, smiling back at me. Her hair gleamed, her eyes calm, her shoulders straight. Not a disguise. Not a product of manipulation. Just me. I laughed, softly, as a wave rushed over my feet. The water was cold and real and grounding. Life, I realized, wasn't about erasing the past. It was about surviving it, learning from it, and claiming the right to exist on your own terms. That night, before bed, I found a small glass vial tucked at the back of my drawer, the one containing the last pill, the one that had started everything. I held it between my fingers for a long time, watching the light catch on its surface. Then I whispered, "Thank you for the mistake," and dropped it into the trash. When I looked up, the mirror on the wall reflected a woman who had lived through hell and found herself on the other side. No fear, no confusion, no shame, just Emma. Months later, people still asked about the title of the video I made documenting my story. One wrong pill changed my gender forever. They thought it was clickbait, but it wasn't, because sometimes one wrong thing really does change everything. And if you're brave enough to face what it brings, it can lead you exactly where you were always meant to be. The last line of the video fades over my reflection in the camera lens. She isn't who I became. She's who I always was. The screen fades to black. Music swells. And the story ends.